Hi, everyone. My name is Adele Shortino. I am with A4 Artistic, and this is the Artist to Artist talk show. We're having a bit of difficulty with Leslie's mic, and we're just trying to get it resolved. So I'm going to bring her up on the screen and see if her mic has been resolved. So just give us a few minutes, and we'll try to get this all sorted out. Leslie?
Hi, can you hear me?
I can hear you,
Leslie.
Hear you. Unbelievable.
Right.
Well, the funny part about it is that we were on this yesterday for about an hour and working everything out.
I can't hear you.
And now she's saying that she can't hear me. So she's saying, wait a minute. In the meantime, for those of you that are in, can you please let us know who you are? Let us know where you're from, and so we can do a shout out. Hi, Wanda. Thank you for stopping. We do have a pretty nice program for you guys. This is a conversation that Leslie and I are going to do. If I can get Leslie to talk.
Can you hear me? You still
cannot hear you, Leslie. You know, we're just going to have to roll with the punches here. For some reason, her mic is not connecting.
Yep, hold on. I don't know why this isn't working.
Hi, Barbara. We have Barbara from England.
All right.
So
can you hear me now?
We're going to have to figure out how we're going to do this since her mic is not working. And
okay,
Leslie.
Okay,
so
hold on.
I think you're back to typing.
Yes. No. Hold on.
Oh my goodness. Oh, you can hear Leslie.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's strange. I'm not hearing her on my side. Hi, Nona. Can everybody hear Leslie? Because I sure can't.
Can you hear me, people? Okay, just a minute. I'm going to use my phone.
Okay. She's going to go get her phone. Well, it's been an interesting couple of weeks, and Leslie and I thought it would be fun if we would come in and just have a nice conversation and talk about our creativity and see how everybody is doing. Leslie's going to get her phone. Okay. So it seems like I'm the one that is not able to hear her, and that's not any good because so Leslie, it looks like everybody else can hear you except for me, and I don't understand that. Yeah, they're saying, yeah, they can hear you.
All right. Can everybody hear me?
Yeah, they can hear you. It's me that I can't hear you.
Okay.
So,
did you mute me? All right.
So you can start talking, and let me see if I can figure my end out.
Okay. And I can. Oh, you can't hear me though. All right. Well, hi everyone. This will be very interesting when you have the two people leading the show. That
I got it.
Did you? Did you hear me?
I got it. Yeah. All right.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, girl. Oh my God, I was freaking out.
All right, we're good. Okay.
Sorry, guys.
So I'm just going to keep this. I'm not going to go to my microphone. I'm just going to keep this because I don't have to use my phone. And
I couldn't understand it because we had practiced this and went over it yesterday, and I thought, how can this be? And anyway, I was driving you crazy. I can't hear you. I can't hear you. Anyway.
And we always think it's our fault because, anyway. Yeah.
Anyway. So I guess we'll start over. Hi, my name is Adele.
and I'm Leslie. And we were just, Adele and I got together and we were talking about, just art and what we do and that type of thing. And we were so, just so excited about switch this so it looks better. Okay. We were just so excited about our art and what we're doing and how to share that with other, like all of you guys, because we get together and have like great conversations like off screen, but we thought, what about bringing those conversations on screen so that you guys can actually benefit from them? That's our goal. And we were also talking about doing this as a form of community, especially right now that some of us might be more isolated than others. And so we really wanted to bring community to everybody. So
yes. And I think it's, I see a lot of people and a lot of artists that are out there, like Leslie said, you're isolated. And even when these times are not here, as artists, we're always working in our studios by ourselves. And it's nice for us to be able to catch up and to hear your comments and questions. And that's what Leslie and I wanted to do, because we do catch up at least maybe once a week or at least every couple of weeks. And it's a lot of fun because we share some stories and what we're up to. Let's see, we have Patty and Esther and Nona. Got a lot of people.
All right. Yay. Hi, everybody. I'm so happy that everybody's here. And so one of the things we actually, believe it or not, did a format. So we're a little bit organized with this whole thing. And
except for my mic.
Yeah, it'll still be by the seat of our pants. But the other thing is, sorry, now I'm getting feedback on my mic. The other thing is that we thought we would have like a discussion about everything, and then you guys can pop in with questions, and then we will have a question and answer at the end of each segment. We have 1, 2, 3, kind of 4 segments. And I'll just tell you, do you want me to, let me just kind of like give a basic. So we're going to talk about energy, creativity, inspiration, and then what your takeaways will be for this. So
Barb from Denver just popped in.
Oh, hi. Yay.
So,
Denver people. All right.
So the first thing we're going to discuss or share is about energy.
And energy is really interesting when you're an artist. I think we all value our energy in all of our lives. And sometimes our art plays a backdoor to other things that we do. And so then you're trying to create and you're tired, or, you know, that type of thing. So we thought we would talk about a couple of things. So Adele, go ahead.
So I know that for myself, for me, what zaps me when I'm not able to perform or to do any of my creativity, and of course the biggest one is stress. When I'm extremely stressed out, I don't gravitate to my art. Some people do. I do some creative things, but very simple things where I can calm myself down to be able to do my main art. But one thing that I discovered, I would say back in August, I wound up tearing my meniscus in my knee, and I was in so much pain from August until January when I had my surgery, and really didn't want to do anything during that period of time. But pain can create just completely take everything out of you because you're so focused on that pain. And once I had the surgery and things started leveling out for me, I felt that creativity flowing again. And so it's just amazing the amount of energy pain would take away from you, as well as stress. So those are things that really play big on me in taking away my creativity and doing the things that I like to do. And also if I have a plate that's overloaded with a lot of projects or things at work, because I do work full time, and sometimes that carries over into the evenings and in the weekends, and that's hard to let go. I know Leslie works from home, so she has a different situation. Leslie?
Yeah, and so I think the thing that zaps me, I'm actually really super good at coming into my studio and shutting the door and having this as my space. But with me personally, I have a lot of energy and my mind goes 100 miles an hour. And so for me, I need to calm my mind down so that I have a chance to breathe. And so part of we'll talk about that next is morning, self-care and your morning routine. And so I have to do my morning routine, and if I don't do my morning routine, then I'm scattered the rest of the day. So the other thing that really zaps me, and Adele, I know the same thing with you, is if I'm unorganized.
Yes.
I have to have actual physical like space around me, breathing room. Otherwise, my mind will stay, uptight with all that stuff around me. So I actually need physical elbow room to be able to create. And if it's not, I feel squished and I feel contained. And then I can't relax and create my creative endeavors.
Yeah, and I've heard from other artists that they're perfectly okay with their spaces being full of different projects and a lot of stuff going on. I mean, we all operate differently. I'm the same way, Leslie. I have to have things in order. Well, of course, they get out of order when you're working, but then before I start my next project, I like to clean things up and feel like I've turned the page and moved on. So, yeah.
Right. And I think that's a really good point. It's really discovering what your personal comfort level is. Some people having their beautiful things around them gives them like a blanket of comfort type of thing. So, we all react so differently. So I think that's, one of the things is you can figure out is what is your comfort level? What helps you feel that you're being nurtured and that you have your space or your breathing room? What are the things that are important to you?
Right. And I agree. It's I think we all have to evaluate what really makes us tick, to be able to create.
Yeah.
And I know we wanted to talk about what helps us as well. So you want to tell us what
Sure.
okay.
Yeah, so I think the big thing is for me to be relaxed and in focus with what I'm doing by having, for me, again, by having my things like whatever my project is, I usually have it like set out on my table around me, and I have it in different piles of what section I'm in, if I'm like, sculpting it, or if I'm sculpting and then I have all my tools. So I like to what project is at hand. Well, let me back up a little bit. So if I'm creating a doll, I sculpt the head first. So I have my clay and I have all my left-handed, so I have all my tools on my left side. And I like having just that in front of me. But then off in the distance, I will have the fabric that I've chosen for that doll. And maybe some I always like to have a cup of tea. I mean, that's just like a comfort thing for me. I love to have a cup of tea, like right next to me too. So,
yeah. Well, that's great, Leslie. I know that you've been doing. Yeah, I drink water, and and my favorite cafe lattes. What can I say?
Yeah.
Yeah, I started evaluating where is it that in my blockage where I can't create, and generally it always gets back to stress and just have too much on my plate. But once I start realizing that, and then well, this goes into the organization that we're going to talk about, but I have to break everything down and list. And once I do that, then it feels like it's like manageable. It's in like a bite size.
Right.
Once I get to that point, and I really have to juggle a lot of balls, especially with me working full time and overseeing this company, and it's a lot. But I love the arts, and I do what I can to be able to relieve all of that, to keep going and do the things that I love to do.
And there's one other thing that I'd like to say. So, because my mind is like so super active, I do have like you see, I'm talking on my on my desktop right now, but right behind my desktop, I have two whiteboards, and one of the whiteboards is like a brain dump thing. So if I have an idea or I have something that comes into my head and it's not fully tuned in yet, I'll just jot a note down of what it is so I can get it out of my head so I can still continue to focus on what I'm doing. And then on my other board, it's my action board. So I can take those ideas and then I can move them over to the action board with a more clear thought and focus.
Yeah, I love whiteboards. I like that visual, and I like doing that as well. And I've also
Yeah.
discovered a really cool digital whiteboard that I had shared with Leslie, and we'll
Yeah.
share those type of things with you. And it's a free program and super easy to use.
Mhm.
But yeah, having those projects separated in bite size, I think it helps us.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So we're going
Okay.
on to our next topic that we would like to talk about.
And does anybody have questions about energy or comments? You can comment about.
Yes, please do
If you
so.
what works for you? Do you have something that that doesn't work or does work for you?
Yeah. Well, everybody that's on here, just remember we're doing this for you. It's not only for us. And we just want to create more unity in our our art community, because we're so, especially now, there's so much distance and conferences are being canceled. And we have this wonderful opportunity called internet where we can all be together. We have, Nona says, whiteboard is a great idea. It is. I use that. Which one do you use? The one where you just, the marker one?
Yep, I use
Yeah. Yeah.
kind of guys, with my groovy little eraser kind of thing. And I'll take a picture of what mine look like and put it on the comments after the show.
Okay, we have a couple of comments here. Yeah, no, not the whiteboard is great, and also I will share the link of the whiteboard or boards that you can create digitally, and that way when you get up in the morning, if you're in front of your computer, you just open it up and you can tick away your tasks that you're working on or want to do to-do list. Patty wants to know, or is saying here, I'll put it up for you.
Yeah, let's see. Oh, yeah. Let me just reread this. I always have 10 or more projects going on at the same time. Amen, sister.
Yeah.
When I get bored with one, I will go to another. Is this normal? And does anyone else do this? Yeah, you know what? I think sometimes, we get like so excited about what we're doing. And I actually don't, my interpretation of this is that you're not actually bored. You're just like uninspired about it at the moment. And so sometimes I find going to another project will help you bring that inspiration back to that other piece. And so, Adele, you have anything to say about that?
I tend to bounce around too. It's just, I just do. I think I've always done that. Now that I think about it, I've always bounced around on different projects. I think it's in our nature as artists that we kind of, like Leslie said, we kind of like, okay, we've had enough of this. Let's do this for a while. Okay,
Right.
enough of that. Let me go back to that. But that's how I operate as well. So I can really relate to what you're saying, Patty. So you're not alone.
Right.
You're not alone.
And I think the only, sometimes if you're under deadline with something and you have to get something to a client and you come across that, which I have also, and my big thing is that what I need to do for myself is I need to slow down a little bit so I don't become anxious about it. So slow down a little bit and then and just muster through it. And then I find that inspiration returns to me. But, I think as artists and we work by ourselves, we end up questioning ourselves so much.
Yeah. I agree, Leslie. Yeah.
You know, because you don't have a boss that's overlooking you, so you don't get like feedback or that type of thing. You're your feedback. So, you know, that's, yeah.
We have a question from Julie here. I'll put it up. She says, tips for overcoming distractions.
Boy, yeah, Julie, I understand that, man. And you know what my little booger is? This puppy. And so, what I do is it is, and especially if you're working on your computer or you have your computer in your room, and you know, I will say, Facebook is my little kind of thing. And so, you know, I'll put a post up and then I'm like, oh, I want to know who's saying something, you know, kind of thing. And I think the biggest thing that we have to realize is that Facebook has an entire team working on what will emotionally pull us back in again. And so I think just having that awareness that somebody, and I mean this kindly, but somebody that is manipulating you to come back to this page again. So I have actually, in my studio, sometimes I put a piece of fabric over my screen so that I cannot go, so it's not even visible to me because it's in the same room. And I don't even bring my phone into my studio with me.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you, it is very difficult. In today's world, we have all been really trained to be distracted.
Right.
So.
And I listen, I'm guilty of that. I'm in a lot of social media areas that, you know, I bounce from one window to the other, to the other, to the other, and to the point where I have to literally shut my computer down. I just have to, the best thing to do is just close it. And what I do is I set a timer on my phone. So I also don't like, if I work very long extended hours, I find I'm not as productive. I don't know about you, Leslie.
Right.
So I'll put a timer. I said, okay, I'm going to work on this for an hour. Then I stop, not necessarily to get back on the internet, but just to get up, move around, and then come back. I think having some set times in a list helps too.
Yes. Yeah,
So,
I love that idea too.
So I hope that helps you, Julie. And I mean, you know, Leslie and I are just giving you what works for us, but we also have heard from other people and we're sharing that information too.
Right. But it is a cold turkey thing. I mean, you know, I thought, oh, I'm not at all, you know, addicted to my phone kind of thing. And you know what? Oh, I tried to like the first, like, I would say week of moving my phone out of my studio was, whoa, I like, really, wow.
Yeah, it's amazing. Let's see here. We've got this one here. Okay. I take my hat off to you for being able to work full time as well. I'm just about retired now and have recently begun my doll making hobby. I couldn't have done this while working. I'm best first thing in the morning, 6:30 for a couple hours. That's my best energy. Well, you know, Barbara, I can tell you, recognizing what time of the day is your best energy is fabulous, because a lot of people work when they're not at their best energy. And for one, I think Leslie and I are both morning persons, and I am on it in the morning. I am like, whoa, you can't stop me.
Right.
I get towards the end of the day, or I would say into the evening, then it's tough. So I know when I need to work and when I can produce the best. You, Leslie?
Right. Yep, same thing. I actually, like I was saying, I almost have too much energy in the morning. And so that's why I go, we'll talk about that next. So that's why I do my morning routine kind of thing, so that I can calm down a little bit to get in. So I would say, you know, I get up super early also, like before the sun. So I have to wait for the sun to come out before I can do what I need to do. But then by the time I get home, I'm so much more calm. So, you know, I can start my workday at like 8, you know, 8 or 9 in the morning. So, but I'm the same way. I'm so much better. And then really by 4, I am starting to fade.
What time is your fade out?
I'd say 4 p.m.
Okay. Well, I'm
I
getting,
can still work. If I need to, I can work till 8 or 9.
yeah,
But
I'm
but
okay.
I'm just not like as clear and it's like not on it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I get it. I know
Yeah.
after I put in a full day's work, I'm like, oh my God. But then
Yeah.
I do go in there, even if it's 20 minutes, 30
Yeah.
minutes,
Yep.
just a
Yep.
little something where I don't feel like a real slacker.
And I think that's a really good point. Oh, Julie has a good question. I wanted to just continue on this thought. Uh, I forgot where we were going. Oh
Sorry.
yeah, oh yeah, just little blips of time. Really, it's consistency.
Yeah,
It's truly, truly consistency. So even if you do like that 10-minute thing, like you go in and you do some shading on a face and you leave. Just little tiny baby steps. I mean, I will go back into my studio like with my pajamas on after I've been in bed and go, oh, this would be great, and like get up and come back in the studio and do one little thing. So,
yeah. Well, I think that when you do that, you don't feel like you're beating yourself up. Oh, I didn't get in the studio. I didn't do nothing today.
right,
And I've
right,
had those days too. It's like, oh, I can't believe it. I didn't
yes,
go in there. So
right.
Julie has another question: how to get past making excuses not to make art?
Boy, that's a for sure, isn't it? Because we can all have those. I even do too. Or it's like, and the thing is, I will say that it's truly like for me, it's like just willpower. I have to I have to be focused in on what I'm doing. I have to know what I'm doing. I know that Julie's a list maker also. Um, and I have a list of things that I'm going to accomplish for the day. And that really super helps me to stay on track. And then can't that I don't have an excuse. If I say I'm going to do, sew the bodies today. So for me, having something that I wrote down that says today I will accomplish this.
Right.
Um, and, I'm going to go back to social media. I also feel like if I get on Facebook and I start slugging around that thing, I get super lazy with,
Hmm.
and then all of a sudden it's like an hour and a half is gone. I'm like, what? And then Pinterest is a whole thing with me. I actually stopped doing Pinterest because it would be like 3 hours. I've been on Pinterest for 3 hours. So um, I think, I think sometimes also making excuses has to like not being sure of where you're going on your project. And so that will bring in excuses for you not to do it. I think we're going to talk about. Are we going to talk about that somewhere? I
Uh,
thought we were.
yeah, I'm just going to take one more question, and then we'll go
Yes.
on to the next, and then we'll
Okay.
get back. Don't worry, we're going to get to all your
Yes.
questions. I'd like to just address this that last question. Where is it? About making excuses. I found that sometimes what holds me back from starting anything is that fear of failure. Fear that I'm not going to create the best thing that I'm imagining it. It's not going to roll out of my fingers like I'm envisioning it. And I think it's that fear of failure. And I had this same feeling even before I started doing figurative art. I had that same feeling when I was doing commission work for doing watercolor portraits. It was looking at that big sheet of white watercolor paper and the fear of putting down that first blob of watercolor there. But once I get started, and I've over the years I've recognized that. So
Yeah.
now I know the best thing for me is make a list and determine on this day I'm going to do this, on this day I'm going to do this,
Yep.
and I go right down the line, and then all of a sudden I just get right into it. But I can relate to that big time, and
Right.
even to this day I fight it. But
Yeah.
it's interesting how we all function with different things, huh? Let's say I am going to bring up our next banner about creativity and self-care. That was one of our topics that we wanted to discuss.
Yeah. So I think the big thing about creativity is that you're at your best when you're relaxed. And so, so we've talked about like, like being anxious or being fearful or that type of thing. And it's really hard to be in a good, mindful, soulful position when you're, and that's kind of how your brain works too, is if you're in, in a fear or anxiety based thing, you can't go into your creative mind. So Adele and I thought about, what helps people, what helps us, with self-care. Adele, you want to talk about your morning routine? Oh,
Well,
so we both do, let me say that we both do morning routines because we're morning people. So, we do morning routines. So,
yeah, I have things planned out again because I work full time, so I have to work things out around that. And on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, definitely I get up at 4:30, get ready, and I go work out for an hour. And that I started that about a year and a half ago, and it has made a tremendous difference for me. And as you heard at the beginning, I deal with a lot of stress, and mainly because I work full time and I'm overseeing 30 employees, and there's just a lot going on. So this was my way to relieve that stress, to be able to give me more energy to do what I love to do. So, and on my days that I don't do working out, on the weekdays, I'm generally up early and I'm making my planning my day out. And then, getting ready and going to work. So my routine's a little bit different than Leslie's. And on the weekends, if I'm able to, I'll go work out. If not, then I'll just do the regular things that I need to do at the house and reevaluate what I'm going to do the next week, or look at what I did last week, which sometimes is very non-productive because
right.
I'm on social media.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's kind of where that's just kind of putting it in a nutshell. How about you, Leslie?
Yeah. So I love that. We're both into lists and we're both into like analyzing everything, which I actually think it's good to be reflective on things like, what didn't work out last week. So you usually know that because you have to drag it into this week.
Yeah.
So for me, my morning routine is I got to get up and I got to get outside. So I do an hour walk. Like I said, I get up before the sun, so I have to wait for the sun to come out. And luckily now we're in Arizona, so it's much warmer than it was in Denver. So even though I did bring my snow pants with me, and now I realize I don't really need them here. But I get up and I make a cup of tea, and I just throw clothes on, and I don't even take Sparty for a walk with me. It really is my time for myself, and I actually it's super important for me to get my body moving first thing in the morning because it releases anything that is holding me back or keeping me uptight. And I usually walk for about an hour. And I'm not walking at it. I'm not doing it for exercise. I'm doing it. It's all mental for me. So I'm just strolling along kind of thing. And I usually listen to a motivational, quiet speech, or lecture or something.
Yeah.
I just really need that peace time to get me. And the way that I know that I've gotten to where I need to in my walk is when I get out of my head, because we all have that internal voice that's chatting at us. Like sometimes, like mine is like kind of really like a cheerleader, blah blah, really on it in the morning. And I know when I'm on my walk, and then all of a sudden I'm noticing the trees around me, and I'm noticing the birds, or I'm noticing even in Denver, if I notice the snow falling or whatever. And when I start getting outside myself, then I know that I've reached that point where I can return home and start to create.
Right. Well, for the last year, like I said, I've been working out, and it helps me mentally and physically. And I really encourage everybody to just get out and walk. Even like Leslie says, just get out and walk, enjoy the scenery, whatever, even if it's just 15, 20 minutes.
It doesn't have to be much. I mean, it can be, 15 minutes is like the perfect amount kind of thing. And you use what works for you, but getting up and moving your body is like really one of the most important things that you can do for your mental wellness.
Yeah, I agree. Do you have anybody have any questions on self-care, creativity? I have one here from Julie. Tips for procrastination.
Boy.
Oh.
Yeah, and I think the procrastination thing is
Yeah.
it's just self-doubt, you know what I mean? And I'm going to get back to this whole self-care thing again. I think with procrastination, it's self-doubt, and it's that part of your brain that's like kind of pecking at you type of thing. And so really what I do is, so I'm getting back to moving my body so that I can get my brain, because we have three parts to our brain. And so I'm moving myself up the scale on my brain to my more cognitive thinking. So I can get away from that nagging voice in my head type of thing. And then when I come home, whatever project I'm working on is ready to go. So the night before, when I finish up, I pre-set up for the next morning. So I'm like I just say, like I sculpted the head, and then that's drying, and so now I need to sew the body. So Monday will be sculpting the head. Well, usually Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, but that part will be, and then my next thing will be sewing the body. So I get like all my fabric and my pattern out and like just laid out on my table. So when I walk into my studio, it's I don't have to look for it. It's right there. So, and it's, procrastination is one of those things. And I just think I think it's in all of us, and it's an easy slide into, and
yeah, it's a real energy zapper, I think.
yeah.
I look at procrastination as this ring in your head, and the ring is not closed; it's still open. And as long as that ring is running with, I didn't do this and I didn't do that, and I'm going to get to that, and it's going to happen. Oh, I'll do it tomorrow, and you keep putting it off and putting it off. It's like that ring is not closed. So once you do the project, it's like, why did I wait so long? How many times have we said that? Why did I put this on? I should have done it. So that means the minute you say that, you have closed it. And now that's gone. And now you have energy. It just kind of relieves that one little area that's been nagging at you all this time. You let it go, and you have new energy come in again. And I have to be careful. And I think, like Leslie says, we all tend to do it, but I have to be extremely careful with that, because I have a lot of deadlines at work. And if I procrastinated with all my deadlines, I'd be really in a lot of trouble. So I'm back to the list making again. I make my list, and I don't know. There's something about ticking things off of a list that I absolutely love. So that's what I do. That's how I combat this thing about procrastination. And sometimes I don't get it why people just don't do it.
Right. And I think, it's also that willpower thing.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to just get your push up, and you got to just get to doing what you're doing. I mean, on anything. And I think the thing is the more we think about it, the more we procrastinate. If you just like, if I procrastinate about my morning walk, I'll just stay in bed with, and drink a cup of tea there, and listen to my little thing there. But I don't even think about it. I just get up, I just do it. I wash my face, I throw on my clothes, I have my clothes ready to go. And so so the more you think about it, the worse it gets.
Yeah, I'm the same way when I got to get up at 4:30 in the morning. I don't think about it anymore. I just pop up, because if I do, I labor over it, and I go, oh my gosh, I got to get up, and it's snowing, and it's miserable, and it's cold.
Right.
I don't think about it anymore. I just go, because that would hold me back.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Patty wanted to know, where in Arizona? She's in
in Phoenix.
Yeah, she's in Phoenix, Patty. Let's see. Julie wanted to know, what do you consider your most important tool for creativity for your vision as an artist?
Oh, we're actually going to talk about that next.
Yeah.
We're going to talk. Julie, that was really good.
Yeah. Good timing, Julie.
Yeah. Yeah. So, should we slide into that?
Yeah, we can.
That was really good. So,
Yeah, our inspiration.
yeah. Let me look at my notes here. So we have three different things that we kind of categorized in this, and the first one was gathering materials, and that can be a great inspiration. So for me, Adele and I both love research. I mean, we're both like researchaholics kind of thing, and I find that really fascinating. And and on so my one of my greatest tools is just research, and I love Asian, and so I jump back into the early Chinese culture, sometimes Japanese culture. And I was actually just showing this to Adele yesterday. So I have an article. I have an article on just one of a Chinese person from the 1300s to the 1600s, and I'm just reading that article. And I find that for me, like referring back into history, one of my greatest tools.
Yeah, it's again, like with what Leslie said, is that I'm big on doing research. That truly inspires me, and knowing if it's a certain project or a certain. The thing with Leslie and I like Asian as well, so we really talk back and forth on this. But she likes, you like the earlier part. You like the earlier, yeah. I like it all.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'm looking at anything that's Asian related, and I like Japan as well as China. So I'm always looking for different things for costumes, because that's what I like to do. Even though I have to go through the process of making the piece, I still like to look at costume ideas and things like that. And I just love that part. I love gathering the materials, not necessarily just the research. I like trying to find the fabric and, the proper thread, whatever it is that we're doing. But that's a fun part. That inspires me.
And I think most of us out there love the fabrics, of our creativity, whatever they may be. And many of my students have heard this over and over again, but you never know when it's going to strike you. One of my stories was I was walking into a fabric store, and it was at Christmas time, and there was this green fabric with all these really super rainbow colors of sequins all over it, and I walked in and I went, that is the most gaudy fabric I have ever seen. Who would ever wear that fabric? And I took two more steps and I went, a mermaid would. And I backed right up and picked that up, and that became the tail of one of my patterns, because, so you never know. It's just, I think, and I think, again, it's going back to being relaxed and being comfortable in where you are in your life, so that you can be open to seeing that creativity or that inspiration anywhere.
And I know you play up a lot on words, Leslie, and I think that was one thing, either looking at motivational sayings or just words.
Yes, and I love I love symbolism. Most of you guys know that. I love the whole meaning behind things. To me, that's probably my greatest inspiration. I also love that it takes me out of the sculptural sense. So it's making a different part of my brain work. So I'm using words, and then I'm creating them into a three-dimensional piece.
Mm-hmm.
So, so it can be symbolism, and it can be poems, and sometimes it's just driving down the street and seeing a word, so it's all kinds of things. So
yeah, and I think not so much words for me. For some reason, I like graphics. When I'm looking at graphics or paintings,
Yeah.
they seem to really motivate me and inspire me. And I don't know if it's because of more than likely because I like to paint and I also like graphic design. So that, not that I don't like words, but that seems to really help me, when I look
Yeah.
at graphic pieces.
Right. Right.
And of course, other artists, they
Yeah.
always inspire me.
Yeah. Yeah. And that is, that's the one that like that's a tough one. And so,
Actually,
because
we had a long conversation about this yesterday.
yeah, we had a long conversation about this and how to stay true to yours. And so my take on this was looking at other artists' work and what was the feeling that it invoked in me, and how do I interpret that feeling into my work, if that makes sense. Like, what was the emotional
Right.
thing that it, or even feeling? Because sometimes I look at like just, you know, um, the softness of something, or just the ethereal feel of something,
Right.
and then how can I place that into my work? What in my style can I take that to do into my work?
Yeah. And I think we're back to also, we're being bombarded every day with with the social media. And a lot of times you'll see an artist's work everywhere. You'll see it on Pinterest, you'll see it on Instagram, on Facebook. So you're mentally absorbing all of that. And it's hard to not pick up something
Mm-hmm,
of that
mm-hmm,
particular
mm-hmm.
artist. So you have to be really aware of that. And like Leslie say, let the piece just inspire you, not necessarily that you're going to replicate somebody else's vision. And
Mm-hmm.
you will be so much happier if you do that. Sometimes it takes it. We don't realize it, but we do. We do pick up
Right.
other
And you
people.
do, and you just, I mean, and I just think some of the times, it's an innocent thing, because, we as artists, most of us are so super visual that you'll bring something into your head type of thing.
Right.
There's 2 points that I want to make is we also talked about really being focused in and clear on what you want to accomplish in your signature or in your piece,
Right.
or whatever. And I also think as artists we have the capability to mold it in our head, and to manipulate it to be what we want it to be. And I gave the example, Adele and I were talking yesterday, and my example is that I saw something at a store, and I thought about it like for a week or two, and I finally went back to buy it, and I got back there and I looked at it and I'm like, that isn't what it was, So I had taken it in my head and made it into something else that I was envisioning. So it's kind of, that's what you need to do with your work, because you know as artists, we all strive to be unique and original, and that's a big process, and it's a
It
big process to keep to develop your signature, and then to keep your signature.
That is a big process. And on what I see sometimes, because as most of y'all know, I have A for Artistic, the online class site. I see students come in and sometimes take from the same teacher over and different classes. And I think to myself, if they're not careful, they're going to wind up picking up that style. But and some people don't.
Right.
Some people are able to just enjoy the techniques, learn from the techniques and the tips, and then try to create their own style. And actually, that's what they should do, because that way they can create their own signature style, as you said.
Right.
So I do encourage you, anybody that takes online classes, just be careful you don't get caught in that, because it can happen very easily,
Right.
without you not even being aware of it.
And
Just a few things. I want to shout out to Sandy. She's in. She says good morning.
good morning. Yay.
She's from Alaska.
Hey, I think also the thing is looking at what you want to do with your art. If you want to be an original artist, and it's super important to develop your own style. But if you want to take classes and enjoy the classes, then it doesn't really matter. I mean, just enjoy that process.
Right.
So, but if you want to be a one of a kind, and you want to be, then you have to really focus in on what your voice is.
Right. I have another questions from Julie. Here it is. Thoughts about creating art just for the sake of creativity itself. Wow, I like that.
Yes. Yes.
I know I do. I go off on things. Sometimes I just do it just because I just want to. I like to do other things too. I like to crochet, love beading, just because. Not necessarily that I'm going to sell it or that I do it for myself. And like right now, in fact, we were talking about this yesterday as well. Right now, I'm doing calligraphy. But I've always wanted to do calligraphy. I wanted to learn. It is an art form, and I really wanted to do it. And it's let me tell you, it's challenging, but I'm really enjoying it. And that's just for the sake of doing it, because
Right.
just to clear my mind, because I know that I'm getting ready to start sculpting again. So I just picked up something that I can sit down and do for 20 minutes, get up, come back the next day,
Yeah.
and yeah. I do a lot of that. I think you do too, huh, Leslie?
Yeah, I do. I do. Julie's been in some of my soul collage classes, and so I do like a collage type of thing, just from um, magazine type of thing. And so, and taking Adele and I are actually both taking another class. That's a 10-month class, and my projects are going to be in collage because I don't want to make a doll. I want to do something that's just kind of relaxing. It's just kind of fun, and that's it. I have calligraphy on my list too, but I've been kind of shying away from it for a little bit just because I'm left-handed. So, but I'll get to it. But I also feel like I'm also taking another personal development class that's actually really focusing on 12 attributes or 12 different parts of your life. And I'm really digging that because it is something that I'm doing just for myself, but it's also super helping like where my art is going too, because by defining myself, I'm defining my art better. So, but I'm also, just doing it for myself. So it's, the byproduct is helping my art, but the thing is that I'm doing it just for enjoyment.
And those are fun things to do, allowing yourself. And here's the next one. Part of the inspiration is the curiosity and the play. And I think Leslie mentioned that we're taking this workshop together. It's online, and it has to do with your inner child, and it's interesting. And we'll tell y'all more about that as we get further into it.
Yeah. We're only on month 1 so far. So we have 10 months or something to go. So,
but so
far, we will talk about it, and we'll show you our projects too that we
that too.
Are doing. Yeah, I'm doing collage.
Yeah, Leslie's doing the collage. I'm doing pen and ink. So, so it's going to be interesting what we're doing here.
Right, and it's stuff that we're just doing that's just for fun. I mean, it's just for the mediums that we're working in are something that's easy and fun for us, and that we don't have to give so much thought to, like in both of our figurative work.
Right.
I also think when I first started when I started into doll making like 30 years ago or whatever, I decided I was in dentistry, and so I needed to have my art kind of ramped up a bit. And so I actually went to a community college, and I took a class in sculpture with in marble, like hammer and chisel type of thing. And then I did one in clay, and I did one in something else. Can't remember what it was, but it was just for play, and it was just for fun. And then over the last couple of years, I've done a lot in I did the floral flowers and worked in paper and did a lot in that and in dyeing. And now I'm finding that's even, coming into my work. But it started with just being curious about how paper works and, and just playing with it and having fun.
Yeah, I think that anything that you let yourself play with and feel that curiosity, it always comes back to your main art that you like to do. I know that anything that I have um, ventured out to and just to do something different, just for the heck of it, and for the enjoyment, and I always wind up using it again somewhere else. Nothing goes to waste. I
Yeah,
always,
yeah.
it's like you're building your foundation or your arsenal of tools, creative tools that you're going to be working with. Does anybody have any question? We have Sandy that just came in. Sandy, where are you from? A lot of people, I don't know where you're from. I just know that, well, Sandy which is Sandy with double E, is from Alaska, and
All right.
Sandy with a Y, I'm not sure. Just let us know where you're from. Julie had another question. She wanted to know if do we journal our ideas?
Oh, that's so good. I love that. Since I'm talking, I'll jump in first.
Okay, go right ahead.
Boy, I am not a good journaler. I keep thinking I want to. That's why I'm doing the calligraphy thing because I think part of for me journaling it has to be beautiful because I'm an artist. So that's a personal issue kind of thing. But I I on the I will do, and just on the drawing aspect of using your hand to paper, paper to pen, or pen to paper. I will, for drawing my dolls, I will do a quick sketch because then I feel like it's finished. So I'll do a quick, a really quick sketch, like just, stick sketch type of thing. And then I will write a little bit because I do symbolism. So I will write down the symbolism, basic points. But I don't get into super journaling kind of thing. I wish I could. I think it's a beautiful art form. And that's one thing that I'm going to try to work on this year is doing some type of journaling with me.
Yeah, I'm a real slacker when it comes to that.
Well,
Okay,
I guess we're giving you a good answer, huh, Julie?
We didn't help you there, Julie. I find that when I if I was going to do journaling, I guess it would be about my art. But I'm like Leslie. I really don't draw much. I mean, I can, but I wind up constructing the piece in my head and deconstructing it and constructing it again, and until I can have all the pieces in place. I may do a quick sketch for the costume, or for the pose, but not much. I just like to, once I get all the research done and have all my materials and stuff, I'm ready to go, and mentally I'm ready to go. Once I take it apart 10 million times and put it back together in my head. So and I'll work differently.
I will say that I'm going to retract my statement about journaling, and that is
just mess with everybody
because I blog. So that is a form of journaling, and I talk a lot about my inspiration and how my pieces are put together and stuff. So I'm not journaling for myself so much, but I am journaling for you guys.
Well, maybe, yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. I guess if we're going to talk about it that way, I'm always posting on Facebook. We're back to social media. Not necessarily I'm posting all my process, but I do post quite a bit there, and for all kinds of stuff. And so yeah. Well, I don't know, Julie, did that help you?
Yeah, but it also made us think a little bit. I mean,
yeah, for sure.
I'm like, no, I don't journal at all. I mean, I actually have a pile of journals, like paper journals over there that are gorgeous books that I keep. I'm like, I am not buying another one this year.
Hey,
doing it.
Yeah, so, we can. I think we have a collection. I've got some there that are full of dust.
But I am blogging, and I love to blog. I mean, I love to write about. I love to write about it, and it does. it does really, and I usually write about it after the piece has been completed. Well, sometimes not, like the next one that I'm doing, it will be in process.
Mhm.
But my dolls take a long time to do. So, you know, anyway, blah, 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 blah. Go
Okay.
ahead.
Okay. We have Sandy from Colorado. And
Yay! Oh,
and
Sandy
we
from
have a Cindy,
Colorado. Yes.
and we have Cindy McCarthy. I think I'm pronouncing that right, from Scotland.
All right. Yay!
Yay! And
Yay.
so we have a couple of Sandys here.
I know, that's cool.
Let's see, where are we?
So we're
I think we went off on
so just kind of like trying new mediums and that type of thing. And so I think does anybody have any questions on energy, creativity, inspiration, any of those things? And if you come up with another question, well, please fill it in the comments, and we'll look at it and answer it too.
Yeah. Well, Leslie and I are really excited about offering this this conversation format. We're going to try to do it every month, and also in between, I've got a couple of artists that I've scheduled for interviews that you ladies like to see. So I'll be posting that soon. But Leslie and I are truly excited about doing this and trying to keep everybody united and inspired. Let's see here. We have our takeaway.
Yes.
Here we are.
All right. So for energy, I'm going to do energy and just like I think my takeaway is like what helps me is like for me being organized. That's my big thing for energy is just be organized for myself.
My energy is also organized and keep my list going so I can stay on track. I think that helps me keep my energy level up. Besides exercising,
yes.
that helps me. And your creativity?
My creativity is my morning routine. If I have my morning routine and then that gets me relaxed, then I feel like I can flow into my creativity really well.
Right. Well, me, it's the same thing. Other than I do my exercise. That has been a lifesaver for me. So I'm glad I'm doing that, and I've been able to keep it up because that's been tough with the weather.
Yeah. Well, and I think your morning routine can be whatever you want. I mean, you don't have to get out there and work out. You can get out there and you can have a cup of tea and journal. You can, so. I think the big thing is staying off of social media first thing in the morning, which it's hard. I mean,
we've all become addicted to it.
Yeah.
And inspiration, well, just about everything. I love nature as well. I love looking at other art, and I've shared a link earlier this week about some virtual museums. I love looking at artwork in museums, and I posted one on my personal page, and I'll be posting the rest of the links so you can go in there. But that type of art and sculptures really inspire me, So, you, Leslie?
Yeah, of course, for me, it's words and symbolism and all that type of stuff. But the museum thing brought me to mind that when I first moved to Arizona, I went to Heard Museum here, which is specializes in Native American. And the piece that really, really spoke to me was a super small, like a little small basket that was woven, but it had bird feathers that were woven into it, and it was just stunning. And I'm like, man, it just spoke to me. So a lot of times going to a museum and just seeing something, but for me, again, it's that, it's the word and it's the feeling. It's the feeling that, that I'm trying to express then back into my work.
Right. I just want to comment. Julie made a comment here. She says, an interpretation of journaling is a personal thing. And you're right, Julie, it is a personal thing. And I think that whether you do it through a blog or you do it on Facebook or you just have your own little book where you put a lock on it, it is a personal thing. And I wish I was more disciplined. Maybe that's a better for me to do journaling, because I have started that several times and then I go, okay, forget that, you know.
Right. Well, and I think like kind of like what Julie was saying is, you know, we express ourselves in such different ways. And, you know, I know my expression, like my voice is my three-dimensional pieces. That's my voice.
Right.
You know, and so that's my, in a sense, that's my form of journaling too.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Let's see. Anybody have any questions, comments? Because we're getting towards the end of our little conversation here. We've just gabbed on the whole hour.
I know. And we have so much more to say, but we are chatty girls, man.
Yeah, well, we really cut it down, girls. I'm just telling you.
Yeah, we have a whole list of things.
Yeah, I kept telling Leslie, I said, let's talk about this. She says, no, we're not going to be on there but an hour.
Oh, no, we can only choose one subject and we got to talk about that. So, which brings me, the point up is like, if you guys have something that you want to talk about or you want to hear about, then please comment about it. And, you know, if you want our take on something or express your take on something, you know, let us know. Yep, definitely.
Yeah. And we'll be announcing the date for the next get together. It's a get together. It's a get together.
It is a get together.
She said, Esther just posted. Hey, Esther. She is saying here, thanks for taking the time to lift our spirits up. I, for one, need it.
Oh, that's sweet. Thank you.
Well, that's great, Esther. Esther works really hard on her art, and she has been making some big strides in her work. And I'm glad that you're here, Esther. I'm glad that we're here to help lift your spirits. Let's see. Where does Patty wants to know, where do you teach?
Right now, Patty. That was perfect timing. So
perfect timing, Patty.
I don't travel as much as I used to. So I do more online teaching now so that I can reach a lot more people. And so, of course, for artistic, so I have a bunch of e-classes and e-classes on there mostly right now. But since you brought that up, I have a couple. So one of the dolls that will be coming up within the next couple of weeks is, I gotta do this right, Meow Meow Nico, which is my little Asian doll here, and she's a fun piece. Just have to see the inside of her outfit here. So one of the things,
I'm going to drop it.
Okay. Oh, hi. Oh, now you can see my messy studio. So, Meow Meow Nico. So, one of the things that I want to, that Adele and I talked about is that this is going to be an e-pattern. So, it's not an e-class, but it's going to be an e-pattern. But what Adele and I talked about is, what about if we attach a Facebook page so that if you buy the pattern, we will have a Facebook page for a month or two. And so, part of the thing that I wanted to talk about with Meow Meow is I did her for a conference, and so I was assigned Asian, and so I did an Asian doll, obviously, and I did Meow Meow because I just thought that's what came to me. That's what I wanted to do, and so I thought she was beautiful and wonderful, and I just so loved her so much, and really felt really strong about this, and did a bunch of research about costuming and all that kind of stuff. And I got back a response from the person that was putting on the conference that it wasn't, that she wasn't comfortable doing an animal doll, and would I give the option of a human head on the animal body? And I said, let me think about that overnight. Let me think about that. And, and as artists, a lot of times we're people pleasers. You know, we want everybody to like our stuff, and and we're not sure about where we are and that type of thing. And so I thought about it overnight, and I went, nope, she's a cat. That's that's the source that came to me, and she's a cat. So no, so I basically said no, I won't. And so um, thankfully, it was like the first class to fill up, and Meow Meow has been like one of my very best selling patterns. And so what I want to do with her and this Facebook page is to kind of talk about staying true to yourself. And so I will talk a little bit about that. So we'll take Meow Meow as the pattern, and then the Facebook page will do a little bit deeper discussion. Of course, you can ask questions about the pattern and anything else that you want to ask about. Give me some time. It's going to take me. We just decided this yesterday, so I got to get the pattern to Adele, and we got to set up the thing. So it'll be coming the end of next week.
Yeah,
so that's our goal.
Yeah, and I wanted to also say that it's going to be a Facebook group, private. So
Yes,
whoever purchased the pattern will be in this group. But the nice thing about it is that Leslie will come on. I'm volunteering you, Leslie.
Yeah, no, I'll do that. I love that. Yeah, go ahead.
Leslie will come on live.
Yes,
because she likes to do that. So she'll jump on there live, every couple of weeks or so, to help you through anything that you might be having difficulties. But the nice thing about Meow Meow, she's got some symbolism too. So
absolutely.
So I know that you'll be sharing all that stuff.
And she's a fun piece. I mean, she's a fun piece to do, and it's not. I'd say good, good, strong beginner, intermediate, level. And then, of course, expert could do it too.
Right.
So, and then the next one that I'll be working on, I have to recreate her, so this is going to take a little bit longer. But I promised everybody that I would get Ling Li as an online class. So she will be coming out as soon as. And I'm not procrastinating as soon as I get to her. So I have to remake her so that I can do like photographs along, so that takes a little bit longer. But I promised you guys, so it's like for years I've been promising. So she will be coming out as an online class. So she's delightful.
Yeah. And if you since we don't have an official date yet, you can go to A for Artistic. There's a place there where you can just put your name in, and as soon as we have a date, I will send you an email and let you know what the date is, when you can register, and then at that point, then you would get your supply list. So, but I'm such a slave driver. I just keep.
Yes, she is. But it's so good because doing online, we can reach so many, and then having like the Facebook or a forum, we can talk about things and do pictures, and it's just we're both like really excited about what this new year is going to bring as far as our art and growth.
Yeah, I just think it's going to be a lot of fun, and the part that really keeps me motivated is that we're reaching so many artists, and there's so many of them that are sitting in their studios by themselves.
Yeah,
and I know that feeling. I know that feeling of isolation. Sometimes it's like it's a lot, it's okay, but sometimes you just need to hear from other artists and what's going on, to keep themselves motivated.
Right.
Do we have any other comments or questions? Let's see here. I'm trying to see if I caught everything. Now, Leslie, I'm just asking this myself. Maybe you might want to know, are you going to teach live anywhere?
Oh, yeah, I am teaching at Peacemakers coming up in California, and I don't even have the doll here. It's Suma Flower Beetle. So that's live coming up. And then I will be teaching at NIADA coming up in August, and that is going to be on defining your pieces. Like, what are the details that it's all in the finish line. So I'll put both of those links up.
Yeah.
I'll put both of those links up for you guys.
Yeah. I just went back to look at our comments. Sandy Cohen, are you still online? let me know, because you have something here that you said you took the online spider class. Are you talking about? Tell me which spider class you're talking about, because I'm thinking of something else. But anyway, just let me know if you're still here.
Yeah.
Let's see who else.
I finally went to live comments, and then I thought, now I'm seeing all the comments.
The what?
I was on private chat, so I never saw any of these comments, and so now I switched to live. Hey, we're just. I just whipped out my microphone too. We're just learning this stuff.
Okay, Sandy,
Hey.
I see you're still on. Are you talking? What spider class are you talking? Are you talking about the instructor named Spider? Because there is one that is called Spider. And are you talking about a spider type class? So, give me an idea what you're talking about. So let's see.
Did Barb want to know? Am I teaching?
Uh,
Am I teaching Meow Meow?
yeah.
That's my guess, and I'm like,
Yeah. I don't know which one.
Yep. So I'm thinking, Barb. Meow Meow is going to be like a self-paced like pattern like you would usually do, but I'm not going to be teaching it online. I'm going to, at least at this point, we just, I just thought I was going to do an e-pattern and then have a discussion about it. But
Yeah.
if I did it as an online class, then it wouldn't be out for a couple of months because I'd have to remake her again too. But I think this. On the Facebook page, I'll talk a lot about it. So I hope that answers your question.
Yeah.
So,
okay. Sandy just responded. Oh, okay. You're talking about Cindy Moyer's.
yeah.
Yes. That is adorable. That is she came up with some really cute patterns. Yeah, she's it was nice. Yeah, you've seen that spider, haven't you? That one that she taught?
Yes, I love it.
It's adorable.
Yes,
Yeah.
I love
Thanks,
her work.
Sandy.
Yeah.
I was just making sure we were talking about the same spider.
Yeah.
This is
And the nice thing is Cindy has a second home here in the Phoenix area, and so we've got to meet a couple of times for lunch and go to a museum. Oh no, we went to the art streets in Scottsdale together. So that's kind of cool. Yeah.
Well, that's great. Oh, you know what? You forgot to tell them where else you're teaching. Yep, girl, in August.
Oh, I did Niata.
Yeah. What did you? But what is the class?
Oh, it's I forgot the name of the class. That's really good. So I'm going to be teaching about like art happens at the finish line. So it's about like how do you drive that piece home? How do you finish that piece up? Which is kind of a good procrastination thing. Like how do you see your site all the way through? I'm going to talk about detailing pieces, how to keep it clean, how to keep your vision on, because it's so easy to get too much message into one piece. So I'll be talking a lot about that at Miata, and I'll put that link up also too for you guys.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and put your your blog.
Oh yeah. So if you guys want to hear, more about like what, I talk a lot about like my inspiration. I talk about the symbolism. I talk about my process. So it's From These Hands blog at blogspot.com, not at, just .blogspot. So I kind of took a little time off from it, but I'm back on it again. So I just talked about the bee finishing up, and now I'm going to start talking about my new pieces that I have. So, and there's like a bunch of information on that on my process. So.
Right. Yeah, it's a great blog, and you do really a great job with that. And sometimes we also carry that over into our A4 Artistic e-magazine.
Yeah.
So that way you have it in writing as well. So, check that out.
Mm-hmm.
And I think what we'll do is we'll also put these links in the comment, because that way it's there. It's sometimes, here they can't
click on it.
No, they can't click on it. They yeah, but I'll put it in the comments when we sign off. And of course, all of y'all know A4 Artistic, and
yes.
Go there. We have a lot of stuff coming up. I've been doing some plotting and planning, and it's people think it's easy for a teacher to come in and teach an online class. The amount of preparation that it takes for online classes or anywhere, teaching anywhere, it's monumental. A lot of these teachers spend hours and hours and hours putting their lessons together, testing the whatever it is that they're going to teach. So, and some of the teachers are now also doing not only PDF files, but they're including some videos. So that's another step they're taking. So, yeah, but we have some interesting classes coming up, and I'm looking forward to letting everybody know about them. So just hang in there.
It's all happening.
It's all happening. We're trying to bring you more stuff and more stuff to purchase, more supplies, like we all do that. So it's been great, and I'm glad that you have joined us, and we look forward to seeing you again. I'm going to check one more time before we leave. If you have any comments or any questions, we'll stay on a few more minutes and see where we go from there.
And thank you guys for showing up today and for your really great participation in your questions. And even if you didn't ask a question, thanks for showing up and just giving us your support, because we can feel it.
Yes.
So it's great. Yeah.
Yeah. Make sure you tell other artists about the little program that we're going to be doing once a month. And it is like Leslie said, if you had something that you want us to address or talk about and share, please send me or send Leslie a comment, and we'll be glad to bring it up.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Because we can get very chatty.
Yeah. We went over time a little bit, but that's all right. It's our first one. So yeah.
Well, my technical difficulties right there at the beginning, but now I have it figured out now.
Okay, good. Yay. Yeah. So we're set. Yeah. Okay. So thank you guys. And if you can, share this video with your friends onto your page, so that we can get more people happy and involved, and know that we're there for them too.
Yeah. Well, stay safe, and we look forward to seeing you again. And don't be strangers. We have Facebook pages and business pages and blogs for you to come in and say hello. And we look forward to seeing you again. Yeah. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Bye. Bye. Thank you.